morning and welcome to LNG Marketplace Weekly News Flash. Here is the latest news we have selected for you from all over the media. According to worldoil.com, LNG prices are poised to test record lows this year thanks to an onslaught of new supply and warmer winter temperatures curbing consumption. The startup of new export projects from Australia to the US has flooded the market, while brimming stockpiles in Europe and an expected slowdown in Chinese demands have dumped cold water on consumption prospects. LNG for spot delivery to North Asia is on track to hit an all-time low this summer, while gas prices in Europe and the US are trading at the weakest seasonal level since 1999. France's LNG imports surged 87% last year to a 10-year high, leading to a sharp drop in gas prices and record exports to neighboring countries. The average price of spot gas in France dropped more than 40% year-on-year in 2019. Amid the gas surplus due to high LNG imports, flows from France to adjacent countries jumped 58% on the year. Meanwhile, Europe-wide LNG imports last year increased 88%. This we read on Montel News. The Port of Barcelona has reported that it handled 18 LNG bunkerings in 2019. According to the port, 10% of its cruise traffic in 2020 will be by LNG fuel ships. Barcelona stated it is positioning itself as the main supply hub of LNG in the Mediterranean, as stated on Cruise Industry News. India wants Qatar to delink the price of its imported gas from that of oil under long-term deals, as LNG sourced from the spot market cost about half of that under the long-term deals. India in 1999 signed a long-term LNG deal with Qatar for supplies from 2004. The price of gas under the long-duration deal was linked to the price of crude. The deal was, however, renegotiated in 2015, leading to about 50% cut prices for India, which agreed to buy an extra 1 million tons per annum of the supercool gas from Qatar. This we found on Finance Yahoo. However, the Hindu business line claims that Qatar will not be renegotiating presently any existing long-term LNG contracts with India, according to Qatar's Ministry of Energy in reply to India's demand. We do not renegotiate existing contracts. Contracts are contracts for the duration we sign them, stated the Qatari minister. Novatek shared details about its four-plan natural gas project and announced its intention to place orders for up to 42 ice-capable ARC-7 LNG carriers in the upcoming years. The company will acquire 10 new ARC-7 LNG carriers from foreign shipyards, while placing the remaining orders with Russia's Zvezda shipyard. Novatek has planned to open 4 new LNG projects on the Yamal and Gedan peninsulas in this decade, as we read on High North News. There are exciting LNG carrier orders on the horizon, and now demand for LNG as a marine fuel is developing a healthy retrofit sector too. The LNG carrier fleet passed a new milestone in 2019 when the 500th vessel hit the water, reflecting the astonishing growth in the sector, which has mirrored growing demand for LNG. While the LNGC fleet continues to grow in size and sophistication, according to some estimates, around 20% of the fleet is commercially challenged by having smaller cargo capacity and higher fuel consumptions. This we found on Rivera Maritime. Eni has signed a long-term LNG supply agreement with Nigeria LNG. Under the deal, Eni will purchase 1.5 million tons from Nigeria LNG, a joint venture in which it participates with Shell, Total, and Nigerian National Petroleum Corp. This we found on RigZone. The glut of the LNG is both good and bad for producers. It will obviously hurt the economics of the new projects and lead to longer payback times on investment. However, it will also help to make LNG a more competitive fuel, especially in Asia, where it faces a struggle against both coal and renewable energies. This we found on Reuters. Atlantic Gulf and Pacific, the global downstream gas and LNG logistics company, is expanding its portfolio to proprietary technologies for small-scale bunker vessels and LNG-to-power barges in response for growing global demand for cleaner and cheaper fuel, as stated on Business Wire. Edge LNG has been selected by a larger producer to capture and liquefy gas from its stranded wells in Tioga Country in the Marcellus Basin. For the producer, this represents an opportunity to reap economic benefits on assets unreachable by pipeline. Edge will purchase the LNG to deliver via its truck-based virtual pipeline to existing customers in the region, as we read on worldoil.com. And according to Hellenic Shipping News, global demand in the LNG bunker market is expected to show continuous growth in the coming years. While LNG is a relatively small part of the global bunker energy mix, investment in the sector is expected to grow. According to Total, LNG bunker vessels will triple its number over the next coming 2 years, with vessels able to cover the main maritime hubs, including Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Antwerp, and Singapore. Public Gas Corporation of Greece and European Investment Bank have signed an agreement to construct the first LNG bunkering vessel in Piraeus, Greece. With a capacity of 3,000 cubic meters of LNG, the bunker trader is expected to be the first of its kind in Greece and Eastern Mediterranean, as stated by Sea Trade Maritime. That's it for this week. Tune in next week for more news, and until then, thanks for tuning in.